Scott, the interviews editor for Front Porch, and today we're here with Elizabeth White-Olsen, the founder of Writespace. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about that organization. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Amanda.
So I wanted to kind of ask a few questions, have you talk a little bit about the organization and also a little bit about yourself as well.
Okay.
What prompted you to start Writespace, and what experiences do you have with writing organizations?
Well, I've been in Houston for about 2.5 years now, and I came from the Wimberley, Austin area where there was a vibrant literary community, and I felt very supported in my artistic aims. And Houston, too, has a very vibrant literary community. But I will say that at the time I envisioned Writespace, I didn't really know about it. And I wanted there to be something here to meet writers' needs. I felt like I personally wanted more opportunities to take writing workshops, and I wanted more opportunities to teach writing workshops. And so that's the inception of the idea. And my experience with literary arts organizations certainly has been, as a student, taking writing workshops at different places like Gemini Inc. in San Antonio, and with Writers League of Texas in Austin. And then once I moved to Houston, I've gotten involved with the Houston Writers Guild, and also I taught at In-Print Literary Arts Organization.
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit more about your own writing?
I would say I'm a genre hopper.
Okay. I think we're all guilty of that, though.
Yeah. I was a student at Texas State, and I was studying poetry, and I loved poetry, but I think probably I was more of a reader of poetry and lover of poetry than a true poet. I maybe wrote a few good poems, but I don't think that I was really, really a poet like I wanted to be. I've also really loved memoir. I've written one memoir. I have a draft of a memoir, but most recently my greatest passion is writing for young adults, for teens.
Nice. And who are some of your favorite writers?
I love Karen Russell. I love George Saunders. And I love all the classics. I grew up reading all the classics. And then, oddly enough, as an adult, once I was in my 20s, I started going back and reading children's books, picture books, and middle grade novels, young adult novels. So I had to kind of go and catch up. I'd been reading adult stuff as a kid. And so my favorite writers for young adults include Libba Bray, John Green. There's so many. Holly Black, I like Holly Black. Kelly Link. There's a lot.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Well, jumping back to Writespace itself, not only does it offer writers a quiet space to work in, but you also offer workshops and also, I believe, manuscript consultations. Yes. So what motivated you to offer all these different services and not just kind of focus on having the space itself?
It's partly an offshoot of my personality. I was talking about being a genre hopper. I am also a generalist in many different ways, and I'm a bit of a workaholic. So, why make it easy and just do workshops or just do editing services when you could do all of them?
Right.
And the other thing is that I really want to support writers. And I feel like there's a lot of people who go through MFA programs and they want to write and they love to write and they get out and it's hard to find a job.
Right.
I mean, certainly I can't employ everyone, but I want to offer people things that they can do, manuscript consultations, workshops, and just other ways that will support them. So I don't know, just very passionate. The other thing too is that I'm basing Writespace in some degree to other writing centers in other major metropolitan areas. Gotham Writers in New York, Grub Street in Boston, which has a full gamut of opportunities, right. And Write by Night in New York City too. So. And
then there's In-Print in town. They also host workshops.
Yes.
And you said you've worked with Gemini in San Antonio.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's definitely a community and a need for organizations like this that serve students after, post MFA, or even people that are just interested in writing itself and have normal day jobs, but have this passion on the side. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know, pre-MFA could be one of the ways to look at it. I think there's a lot of people who would love to get an MFA, but they can't afford it financially, and they can't afford the time away. But I would like to serve those writers' needs and have them have a way to still learn and grow and develop their craft.
Nice. So your organization is fairly new. What has the response been like so far from the literary community in Houston and elsewhere?
It's been really amazing, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I knew there was a need. I could feel it because I felt it myself. It was almost painful to not feel supported the way I was used to feeling supported through my 2 MFAs.
Right.
You know, and I've seen an amazing response. And what's been amazing about it is that I really, yes, I've worked very hard, but I'm just one person. Yeah. And I haven't had an advertising budget. It's so far really been word of mouth. You know, people just posting on Facebook and people telling their friends about it, and it's been amazing. You know, right at the beginning of the summer when we started, every single Facebook like we got on our Facebook page, I could directly correlate with an action I had taken. Yeah. You know, like I had emailed a few friends, hi, our Facebook page is looking really lonely. Could you invite a few people to like it? You know, and they would. But now I'm not doing anything, and those likes are adding up.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Like your presence, your organization's existence is sort of being, you know, propelled through these other sources in town that are sort of supportive and on board with it.
Yes.
Just like we were talking about, you know, some of the U of H faculty and students that are using the space, or they're, you know, heavily marketing the space through Facebook or word of mouth because they know how great it is. And it's only a month or two old, so that's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
So like with any new organization, there are bound to be hiccups. What are some of the obstacles that you've faced while trying to form Writespace?
Wow, there have been a lot. There have been a whole lot. You know, starting with, we did a Kickstarter campaign, and the Kickstarter campaign did not succeed, and I put hundreds of hours into doing it. You know, having meetings and doing a video and just planning everything. You know, filling out all the information, the different prizes and everything. Yeah. And researching how to do it. So that failed. And it would have been really easy to, you know, like run the other way, but I couldn't stop. You know, I really, it's just my dream, so I made it happen anyway. But that was a major hiccup, and that was disappointing. Yeah. And at the same time, I really learned a lot. I mean, I realized how little I knew about, well, running a Kickstarter campaign. You know, it takes a lot. It was just a very different experience than I thought it would be. And we've had to cancel some workshops. Without an advertising budget, it's a little bit difficult to fill writing workshops. And so that's been a little bit difficult. And my teachers have been incredible. I mean, they believe in this, and they have been understanding from the very beginning. Yeah. You know, and so I've had teachers who have said to me, "Look, I'll teach with just 2 students." You know? Yeah. And luckily that hasn't happened yet, but they've been very supportive. So their faith has really, you know, kept us going too.
In terms of the space, are there many regulars that come to use the space on a weekly basis to come and work here? Or has it been a lot of just new people from week to week, like kind of inquiring and then deciding to maybe take a few hours and try it out?
Yeah. It's actually, you know, I think it's been about 15 drop-ins over the summer. So it's really, you know, it hasn't been just a landslide, you know, people have not been bursting through the doors to take part. I think that they're not quite used to the idea yet, but I feel like it's, you know, people are starting to get it. And right now, in fact, we just have 4 writers who are taking part on a regular basis. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it does seem kind of like an unusual concept for most people because they usually have a workshop they attend, and it's sort of their way to kind of stay motivated to maybe write. But in this way, you're kind of having to motivate yourself to come to a space and to know that you're going to make use of that space. and to kind of trust that that space is going to serve your work, hopefully in a positive way. So, yeah, I think it's a good concept, and I think that you're sort of changing the way we think about, what's possible for literary organizations, and there aren't any limitations really if you can just conceive of something and put it into action. So,
thank you.
What have been some of your favorite moments? I know there have been some hiccups, to be sure, but what are some of the exciting, fun, rewarding moments so far since Writespace has?
There have been a lot. There have been a whole lot. When I get to read our evaluations from our workshops, that really makes me happy. I just hear the joy in people's voices, and I always ask the question in there, what did you get from this workshop that you may be able to apply to your own work?
Yeah.
And everyone always has something to say, and sometimes it's something very profound. So I find that very rewarding and exciting. And when I talk to my teachers, I call them and say, how are things going? And I can tell it's going great. I can tell they're having a ball, and I love that I've helped make a way for these new relationships and new mentoring situations to happen.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting.
And it's also probably really great for the instructors themselves, for their own writing, to just kind of be around writing. When you're interacting with students, you're inevitably going to always get inspiration, or you're always going to be learning something new, because we never know everything. So
that's true.
I'm sure that's definitely taken effect.
That's true.
Lastly, looking forward, what is your ultimate goal with Writespace? I know you have, goals right now that you have kind of set in place, but are there other things you're looking to do with the organization as it evolves and grows?
That's a good question. Honestly, there's so many duties as the director of a new literary arts organization that I haven't had a whole lot of time to do long-range planning. I mean, I'm the web girl.
Yeah.
I'm also the hirer and interviewer of teachers. I'm a teacher myself. I teach an online workshop with Writespace. And, I do all the accounting of the registrations. I do all the budgeting stuff. There's a lot of responsibilities. All the answering of emails, all the phone calls we get. So I haven't done a lot of long-range planning. So I'm glad you asked. What I do know, right now, since we're just starting out, I'm looking to the month-to-month kind of goals, and just recently we've been able to meet our bills. So to me, that's a success. I want to be able to keep paying our bills. And then at some point, I want to be able to actually hire people to help me with the administrative parts. And I'd like to have a slightly larger space so that we can have larger workshops or larger readings. So I think I would get a little bit intimidated if I were to think 5 or 10 years ahead.
Yeah.
But I would love for us to just make an enormous difference in the Houston writing community. I'd love for us to make Houston a writing hub like New York and like San Francisco, Seattle. I mean, Austin. These cities that are known to be creative.
Right.
I would like to make Houston that kind of a creative place when it comes to literary arts.
Yeah, and it's amazing because Houston has so many organizations, but yet it's very understated. People still don't really realize, hey, we have Imprint, we have a lot of reading series that go on locally, monthly, and we have Writespace, but it just hasn't really caught on yet, I don't think, nationally. Houston's still, kind of pigeonholed into, the oil and gas industry and some of the other less exciting labels, that get tagged.
Yeah. I mean, actually, Imprint's got one of the best reading series in the entire country.
Definitely.
But then when people think of Houston, they think of oil and gas.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be thinking of, wow, we have Karen Russell and George Saunders coming to speak, in my opinion.
Right. Or we have one of the top creative writing programs in the country at the University of Houston.
Yes.
So
so it's here already, and I want to contribute to that and raise our profile and just rev people up and vitalize the writers who are here, because I know there's a lot of people who have the dream and who have the talent, but maybe they don't have the confidence. Maybe they don't have the ability to access knowledge about craft that they would need.
Yeah.
So I want to offer that.
Awesome. Well, I'm gunning for you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Before we wrap it up, do you have any other things you want to share about Writespace, or things that make you excited about the organization?
Absolutely. We have a new open mic series that's in the works, as well as readings that are going to be happening, and those are all free events. Okay. I'm offering Friday and Saturday nights just for the community, literary community, to use the space in different ways, and so I'm looking for ways for that to happen. So I invite people to connect with us and to come up with, what kind of workshop would they like to see happen here, and to contact us and let us know, because we're here to serve the literary community and to serve budding writers, and the door is wide open.